GM Philosopher answers questions. Let's go. Combat is dragging. How do I make fights faster and more cinematic? Okay, this is a very complicated one. And let me start off by giving you a disclaimer. You as the game master can only do so much to make fights faster. The primary things you can do to make fights faster is to make NPC actions fast, make enemy actions fast, get the turns done, quick. Wham, bam, wham, we're done. Move on to a player, right? If you can minimize all of your parts of it and make it extremely fast and do it, you might want to script this out ahead of time, right? You may want to write down literally the order of actions enemies are going to take kind of in a basic turn, and then even pre-roll some of those things. You can go that far. Preparation is key for this. You want to basically eliminate all needless sitting there in quiet while your players are waiting for you to roll things, blah, blah, blah. Maybe in key moments you can do that, but I'm going to tell you what I generally tend to do. I generally tend to have, in my mind, it's like they're either going to do one or two things. They're going to either attack or they're going to cast a spell. I choose immediately, and then I have a list of spells, and I list them out like in the order that they're going to probably cast them, and I just choose the first one. They go with it. Boom. What's the damage? I choose average damage. Sometimes I don't even roll damage to try to minimize that time. So it's just like average damage. I have this predetermined. We want to get our part of combat done fast, and preparation is the key. Now, when it comes to players, I hate to tell you this, but you are sort of at the mercy of your players. Personally, when I'm playing, I can get my turns done fast, usually less than 3 minutes, and my turn is done because while other people are going, I'm planning out my whole turn, literally. And I even literally write it down as I'm planning it so that I don't forget anything and so that I can boom, boom, boom for the GM so we can get combat moving. But the problem is that you run into players who sort of like, they don't think about their turn until it comes around to them. And then they sit down and they think about it for a minute. Then they're trying to decide what spell, but then they can't quite decide between these two things, right? So this is what takes a long time. And then you have players who, add to that. Maybe they don't completely understand the mechanics of their character. Add to that, they're maybe a little bit distracted. And pretty soon you've got these 20-minute turns, 15-minute turns, especially at higher levels with a bunch of dice and stuff, where stuff's getting more complicated. I have found that one of the most difficult, but also easiest ways to deal with this is to literally set expectations for your players. At session 0, and really at the beginning of every session, you can say this. You can say, just so you know, in this game, public announcement, disclaimer, we're shooting for lightning fast combat. We want to get combats done efficiently. We want plenty of time for cinematics, plenty of time for role play. So I just want to let everyone know, I expect your combat turns to take less than 3 minutes. When the other players are going before you, please get your turn, write it down, have it all ready. And then when we get to you, we can bam, 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 get it done. There's nothing wrong with setting this expectation with your players and reminding them at the beginning of every session. You could even remind them at the beginning of every combat. You could put together a little script, almost like a public service announcement that you give ahead of every combat. Sometimes people just don't remember things. Your players may not be trying to slow down combat. They may literally just not be thinking of it until their turn comes up, right? And this is a very human thing. I once read a book about business success, and they were basically saying you have to tell employees something 7 times before they hear it the first time, right? And humans are kind of like this. So those are my 2 favorite tactics to make combat fast. If you can resolve your end quick, fast, set the tone, set the precedent. And you have to lead by example. If you're taking 20 minutes to roll all of these enemies, things, you're doing all these things with enemies, and you expect your players to take 3-minute turns, that's not very consistent, right? We don't want to do that. We want to lead by example. We want to be taking 1.5-minute turns and then expecting our players to get done in 3 minutes. This is a lot more consistent, will garner a lot more respect for you from your players and make them more eager and more willing to do that work for you and for the rest of the table, right? Quick shout out, join the GM Philosophy Discord. Link is in the description. We're over 500 GMs strong. Empowering Game Masters to run better games is our goal. Download my free ebook. Also purchase my new premium ebook. Link to those are in the description. And if it hasn't gotten filled up yet, you can join my latest game on Start Playing Games. If you'd like to game with me, the GM Philosopher, Grimdark Fantasy, bring your big boy sword because it's going to be a massacre. And that's all I've got for this one. Thank you, awesome people. I'll see you on the next one.